Hello to all astrology enthusiasts. In this video, I want to discuss the effects of the new moon in Cancer for all 12 zodiac signs. This new moon will occur on June 25, 2025 at the 4th degree of Cancer. It will open a period that will last until January 3, 2026. And the waxing moon will be in effect until July 10, 2025. Aries. The new moon in Cancer will take place in your 4th house of the horoscope, and for you this will highlight themes of home, family, inner comfort, your roots, your personal space, and a sense of emotional security. In general, the 4th house is responsible for home life, family, parental relationships, and our sense of belonging. The new moon here in the sign of Cancer is naturally connected with this house and intensifies your focus on family matters and specifically on emotional well-being in the place where you live. For you, for Aries, the 4th house and the new moon here marks a period that calls you to renewal and a fresh start, specifically in these areas of life, creating comfort, improving relationships with close relatives, starting a family, becoming aware of your roots, family history, and family traditions. In other words, this is a time to set new emotional goals, connections, and to determine what gives you a sense of security and support specifically in the place where you live. Cancer brings here the energy of care, sensitivity, and renewal, and this will help you lay a solid foundation for future changes in this house of your horoscope. The new moon itself may create situations, ahem, for example, when important family conversations are possible, or a rethinking of your relationships with parents, children, or other family members. In other words, there will be an opportunity to resolve old conflicts and strengthen bonds. Or this new moon is also a great time to start renovations, move to a new place, create a cozy new corner at home, or refresh your space and interior. Also, you might find yourself wanting to spend even more time with your family, organize joint celebrations or meaningful rituals, and further strengthen important household traditions. There may be situations where you genuinely need to show care and support for a family member, or, for example, there could be times when you really need to stand up for your personal boundaries, or clearly and honestly express your emotional needs. Also, this is a great time to start new projects related to your personal space, invest in real estate, or address matters concerning inheritance or the family budget. There may be situations that require you to find a balance between independence and belonging. In other words, it's important for you to maintain your own initiative without damaging your family relationships. To ground this energy, be sure to pay attention to and support the comfort and coziness in your home. You can do this, for example, by burning candles, cleaning your home, or taking care of your plants. Or it's important here to organize some home events, such as special celebrations and gatherings, and spend quality time together with other family members, including extended family actively communicating with close relatives, and doing so openly and honestly. This period is especially good for resolving any misunderstandings that may arise within the family. It's a good time to plan activities with your family and to communicate with your parents. This could be family dinners, walks, or creative activities. It's also a good time to take care of your health. You can practice various meditations, breathing exercises, or water treatments. It's very important to pay attention to your diet and sleep schedule. And if you're planning to move, now is the perfect time to start, for example, preparing documents or choosing a place to relocate. All of this will be relevant during this new moon and for the next 6 months. For you, During this period, the following motto will be relevant. I am building a strong, warm home within myself while strengthening my roots and opening my heart to love and support, specifically through family. And your tarot hint for this period is the Ten of Pentacles, probably one of the most family-oriented cards, which first of all confirms everything I've said about the fourth house for you. This is a very good period to strengthen your family ties, create a new family, expand your family, move or buy or sell real estate. Everything related to family matters will work in your favor during this period. I wish you success. See you soon. Taurus, the new moon in Cancer will occur in your third house of the horoscope, and this concerns communication, exchanging ideas with others, learning, interacting with brothers and sisters, your closest circle, even neighbors. Here we're talking about short trips. And in general, the third house is responsible for mental activity, communication, information exchange, and learning. The new moon in Cancer here places the emphasis for you specifically on the emotional side of communication and learning. For you, this is a time when it's important to pay attention to how you express your feelings in words, how you build relationships with close people whom you communicate with, and what you are learning. Cancer adds a sense of caring and depth of thought to this. It encourages you to seek emotional comfort, specifically in dialogues, in the exchange of information, and may manifest, for example, as a desire to learn, to share some information with others, or to engage in writing. For you, the new moon will create situations where you will start some new courses or trainings and you will be mastering new skills. At the same time, all of this will be connected to emotional intelligence or to topics of psychology or some kind of intellectual activity. There will be situations involving conversations and open dialogues with brothers and sisters or with neighbors. There may be situations of reconciliation or, on the contrary, clarifying relationships, which will help you clear your past and move forward. There may be situations here where you feel the urge to write down your thoughts and feelings, for example, to keep a diary or a blog or make some personal notes in order to better understand yourself. Short trips or visits to loved ones, to brothers or sisters are possible, which will give you not only new experiences but also emotional nourishment. New ideas may arise that are related, for example, to creating a cozy space for communication. For instance, this could be organizing some family gatherings with brothers and sisters, or having warm, intimate conversations in a homey atmosphere. In your interactions, it is important for you to avoid excessive emotional reactions or being overly sensitive, because emotions will play a particularly significant role for you during this new moon. Moreover, in order to ground the energy of this new moon in your third house of the horoscope, you can engage in writing practices. You can also practice active listening when communicating with others. Be sure to resolve any conflicts or misunderstandings with those close to you. You can use meditation or various breathing exercises if that is relevant for you. It's also very beneficial to have pleasant, warm gatherings and conversations. You can call your loved ones or arrange small get-togethers specifically with your close circle. Pay attention to the little things in your interactions. In other words, try to create a cozy, calm atmosphere when interacting with others. You can also engage in educational activities, study foreign languages, or do something creative, such as drawing, storytelling, or writing. All of this will help you process your emotions and ground them. Here, it's important not to be afraid to open up to your loved ones through honesty and sincerity. And for you, during this period, the motto is How do I express my thoughts with love and care, building bridges of communication that truly nourish my heart and soul? Your tarot hint for this period is the major arcana card, the Chariot. Set out on a journey, move around a lot, communicate often, and embrace any flow of information, because right now people will bring you very significant, important information that will transform you. Everything connected to words will have a strong impact on you. And in general, the Chariot here is about the need to be very mobile, very flexible, to adapt quickly to everything happening around you. And all of this will be possible precisely through absorbing a large amount of information. I wish you success. Gemini, the new moon in Cancer will occur in your second house of the horoscope. This is about personal resources, your financial stability, your values, your self-esteem, and both material and immaterial assets. The second house in general is responsible for our money, our property, as well as our value system and sense of self-worth. The new moon in Cancer here draws your attention specifically to the emotional connection with your finances and your material security. For you, this is a time to rethink your concerns, more precisely to reconsider your priorities when it comes to money, savings, and what is truly valuable to you in life. And Cancer brings a desire to create comfort and protection specifically through material means. In addition, it gives us the opportunity to work on strengthening our inner sense of security. Here you may feel the need to improve your financial situation, reconsider your expenses, ahem investments, and strengthen your self-esteem primarily through self-care. Overall, the new moon may create situations for you where you feel the urge to focus on your budget, financial planning, or to start saving, investing, and creating a truly comfortable and safe environment for your life. For example, this could be renovating your home, buying appliances or items that bring you comfort. There may be situations where you look for new sources of income or additional work that not only provides money but also brings emotional satisfaction. There might be times when you need to sort out your financial obligations. For instance, this could involve loan payments, debts, or contracts that require review. There may be situations where you receive gifts, assistance, or financial support from loved ones or family. After all, Cancer is associated with home and family resources. There may be times when your health draws your attention and you need to invest in proper nutrition, sports, or wellness treatments. There may be situations where you need to work on your self-esteem, specifically from the perspective of material achievements. That is, the main thing here is not to overspend and to find a balance between comfort and any unplanned expenses. And there may also be situations where you experience emotional fluctuations that are directly related to money. That is, it's the fear of losing or anxiety about the future, which is very important to keep under strong control. To ground the energy of this new moon, first of all, keep track of your income and expenses. This will give you a sense of control and confidence. Pay attention to yourself through proper nutrition, rest, and investing in your health. Work on your value system, because self-esteem depends not only on material wealth, and it may be necessary to do some psychological work here. Create a cozy home environment, practice gratitude techniques if they are relevant to you, and avoid impulsive purchases, especially when you are in an emotional state. In other words, try to make conscious choices. And during this period, a motto that will work for you is, I am building a solid foundation for my security and values while nurturing myself with care and mindfulness. Here is a tarot tip for you for this period. A very interesting card, also related to finances. This is the Two of Pentacles. So it's important for you to find balance during this period between your income and expenses and between your ideas related to material well-being. In other words, you will need to keep balancing because the environment will constantly create situations where you have to make choices. For example, choosing between making an expensive purchase or saving money for future prospects. So here, a constant conscious choice in financial matters will play a significant role. I wish you success. Cancers, the new moon in your sign is in your first house of the horoscope, which concerns your personality, your identity, your outward self-expression, and any new beginnings or projects in your life. Because the first house is the house of ourself. Here is the beginning of everything, your image and the way you present yourself to the world. And the new moon in Cancer initiates a new life cycle for you, one that is connected to the renewal of your personal energy, your personal power, and a rethinking of yourself and your role in this world. Cancer will add emotions here, placing emphasis on your inner needs, on family and ancestral stories, your roots, as well as on self-protection and self-care. In other words, this is a time when you can start a new phase that is specifically connected to the development of all areas of your life. That is, it's a launch in any area, any new beginning you have in mind. And now is the perfect time to launch them. In general, the new moon will create situations for you where you will be starting important personal projects or making changes. For example, changing your image, starting a new job or position, launching your own business, or changing your lifestyle. There will be situations where your desire to be heard and understood will intensify, and you will express yourself very emotionally and openly. There may be situations where you will have to set personal boundaries in relationships, at work, or within the family. You might also feel a need to take better care of yourself, your body, and your rest. This can be done through sports, wellness practices, or by adjusting your diet. Here you will want to improve your interactions with loved ones, close friends, family, parents, and generally rethink your role within the family system. Your sensitivity to external circumstances will increase. There will be a lot of emotions, so try not to give in to them, but instead consciously control them. You may experience inner doubts or some wavering related to your self-confidence. So you should pay attention to this as well. And in order to ground the energy of your new moon in a positive way, first of all, practice regular self-care, take care of your body and your soul, and strengthen your connection with yourself. Be sure to review your life goals and desires. And it's best to do this in writing. For example, write down your intentions for the next 6 months that you want to achieve, set healthy boundaries with those around you, and simply learn to say no when you truly don't want something. Pay attention to your daily routine, sleep, nutrition, and practice meditation and breathing exercises, which will help you control your emotions because there will be a lot of them during this period. And try to interact with people who energize you positively rather than those who drain your energy. And for you, during this period, what slogan works best? I am renewing myself from within. I accept and express my true strength with love and care. If we talk about tarot hints, while I was shuffling the deck, the Emperor card jumped out for you. I would say that in the next 6 months, a significant man will appear in your life, someone who will play an important role for you. Moreover, it's clear that this person has made some important decisions regarding you, and perhaps they are related to starting a family. These are the 3 cards that jumped out while I was shuffling. Nevertheless, here's one more card for you. Forget about your worries and anxieties. Close the door on everything old and past and move forward into the new. I wish you success. See you soon. Lions, the new moon in Cancer will occur in your 12th house of the horoscope. This is about the subconscious, about hidden resources, secrets, solitude, certain spiritual practices, recovery, and the fulfillment of karmic tasks. The 12th house is associated with our deep inner world, with the secrets of our psyche, with the subconscious, and with those processes that are hidden from external view. The new moon in Cancer will significantly highlight for you the importance of emotional and spiritual cleansing and healing, as well as the importance of working through your inner fears or childhood traumas. And I think that for you, this marks the end of a certain major life cycle. And here you need to cultivate a readiness to let go of the old and prepare for inner renewal, because the next new moon will already be in your sign. Cancer will gently add softness, sensitivity, and self-care on a deep, profound level, and will encourage you to seek solitude, engage in spiritual practices, and restore your inner resources. The new moon will create situations for you where you feel the desire to withdraw, to take a break from the outside world in order to deal with your inner experiences or accumulated fatigue. Subconscious fears and some old emotional wounds will surface, demanding your attention and healing. There may be situations or encounters that are connected to themes of deep psychological work. Perhaps you will want to start psychotherapy or visit a place of power, or maybe go on a solo journey. There may be situations where you feel like distancing yourself from social obligations altogether and dedicating more time to yourself and your own recovery. Overall, you need to trust your intuition more and pay attention to any insights that come to you during this period. In addition, you will need to work through your cosmic lessons, because by addressing these issues, you will understand where to go next. And overall, you will have the opportunity to finally let go of the internal limitations that have been holding you back from realizing your life's potential. In order to ground the energies of this new moon, try to devote more attention to yourself. You might use meditation, yoga, or keep written practices, such as recording your dreams and sensations. In other words, pay attention to any subconscious messages. It's very advantageous and beneficial to practice forgiveness during this period, both forgiving yourself and others in order to release this inner energy and remove any energetic blockages, especially during this time. Pay attention to your sleep, quality rest, and physical recovery. And overall, during this period, a motto that will work for you is, I accept the depths of my soul, I let go of the past, and I am restoring myself for a new stage in life. The tarot advice for you during this time is the 9 of Cups. Give yourself more attention, more joy, pleasure, relaxation, and enjoyment. And pay even more attention specifically to exactly what it is that you want. In general, the 9 of Cups shows us complete satisfaction with everything that is happening in our lives. Now is the perfect time to figure out what you truly want and what really brings you genuine pleasure in life. Wishing you success. Virgos, the new moon in Cancer will take place in your 11th house of the horoscope. And these are the themes of friendship, your teamwork or group activities, and social connections. The 11th house is about dreams, long-term goals, and the support of like-minded people and sponsors. So, for you, interactions with your friends, communities, and large groups will come to the forefront. It's about fulfilling big life wishes and making your dreams come true. And the new moon in Cancer will highlight the emotional aspect of your friendships, for example. So here, it's not just the number of acquaintances that matters to you, but also their quality, sincerity, and mutual care. Cancer will bring the energy of care, support, and the creation of emotional comfort into your circle of friends. This is a time when you can thoughtfully reflect on how your social contacts and relationships affect you. Consider which ones are truly important and meaningful to you, and think about what kinds of interactions you want to develop and nurture, perhaps, for example, for collaborative or joint projects in the future. Overall, the new moon may create situations where you feel the desire to strengthen friendships, show care, or receive support from close ones and friends. There will be new acquaintances, especially through the internet. After all, the 11th house represents the online space, and all connections in general can eventually develop into friendships or business relationships. There will also be situations where joint projects or certain initiatives are launched, especially if they are related to supporting other people. Perhaps this could be charity work or some kind of volunteer initiatives. There may be situations here where you find yourself rethinking your role and participation in social groups, certain alliances or large collectives. You might come up with ideas or feel inspired to pursue long-term plans that are specifically connected to social activities or creative work. Events related to online projects or internet activity in general are possible up to and including, for example, if it's relevant for you, meeting someone on dating sites. Overall, during this period, the main focus will in particular shift toward helping others or receiving help from other people. And in order to ground this energy, it's important for you during this period to lead an active social life, but to choose people who share your values and support you in some way. Be sure to participate in large events, group activities, and team projects. It's important here to show empathy and to practice active listening, for example, with your friends. It's also a great time to review your list of wishes and dreams and, if necessary, update them. In general, it's good to spend time on hobbies as well, especially those that are shared by your like-minded friends or companions. And it's important to maintain a balance between your personal time and the social activity during this period. For this period, the motto that works for you is, I build strong and genuine connections and I find support and inspiration precisely in unity with friends or within a community. And your second tip for this period is the 8 of Cups, which tells you to leave behind negative emotions, go out into the world, engage in social life, and take an active stance so that you don't get stuck or dwell on any negativity. Because after all, cups are about emotions, and this new moon is very emotional. So don't get fixated, don't close yourself off, go out into the world and express yourself. I wish you success. See you. Libra. The new moon in Cancer will take place in your 10th house of the horoscope. These are topics of career, your status, your calling, career and professional goals, public image, reputation, and relationships with colleagues or management. In general, the 10th house is the peak of our chart. It is the area of our greatest achievements and social recognition. And the new moon in Cancer here will activate not only your career ambitions, but also an emotional perception of these matters. How much you feel like you are in the right place, how much what you do resonates with you on a soul level. Cancer will add a touch of care, intuition, and emotional involvement specifically to professional matters. And any career moves, especially in the next 6 months, will not be just for the sake of achievements, but for an inner sense of security, emotional comfort, belonging, and a certain sense of meaning. And the new moon here will create situations for you, such as the start of a new career project or changes in your professional sphere, which will resonate with you specifically on an emotional level. For example, this could be working with people, helping professions, teaching areas of care, social projects, or psychology. Opportunities will arise here to take on a more responsible position, especially if it requires leadership through support rather than control. There will be situations here where your status may change. This could be a promotion, a change of position, stepping into the public eye, or starting a personal brand, personal project, or business. Or you might change your status as a result of an official marriage. There will also be situations where you realize that your chosen professional path may no longer align with your inner values. And of course, you will feel the desire to reorient yourself. Also, there will be situations related to themes involving parents, especially the mother figure, since this concerns the 10th house, and you may find yourself showing care or directing your attention to family matters. Alternatively, if there are certain family traditions, for example, in your profession, you may be faced with the task of carrying them out. In addition, there will be situations where you have the opportunity to act as a mentor or to receive support from sponsors or an influential person. And in general, external circumstances will push you to reconsider your professional goals. For example, what do you want to be known for in the world? To ground the energy of this new moon, create a clear map of your career goals or review and write down your career objectives. Be sure to express your personal potential, but do so gently, that is, emotionally, because after all, this is the energy of Cancer. Try to maintain a balance between professional fulfillment and personal life so that you don't fall victim to this situation. You can work on your reputation, your status, or on your social media resume or website that showcases your professional activity. Additionally, try to respect personal boundaries, yours first and foremost. Learn to say no, especially to career projects that do not meet your needs. And in general, try to interact more with colleagues, mentors, and influential people. Perhaps you can become a source of support for others. During this period, a motto that works for you is, I am building a career where success is based on sincerity, care, and staying true to my values. And here is a tip from the tarot for this period. Here we have the 8 of Swords. It tells you that there is nothing to be afraid of. You shouldn't bury yourself in your fears or emotional blocks, but instead focus on achieving your professional goals and ambitions, interact more, promote your brand and status, and participate in any professional projects in order to rise to a whole new level. I wish you success. Scorpios. The new moon in Cancer will take place in your 9th house of the horoscope. This is about higher education, your worldview, your outlook on life, long-distance travel, expanding your boundaries and horizons in general, resolving legal matters, as well as questions about spirituality, your mission and faith. And in general, the 9th house is responsible for everything that broadens our perspective on life, both on a physical and on a mental or spiritual level. Here, any interactions with people from abroad, with anything foreign, bring changes to our value system and our beliefs. This is the house of long-distance travel, philosophy, education, and certain inner guiding principles. And the new moon in Cancer here initiates emotionally significant changes in your worldview and will prompt you to reflect on where you are heading in life and what or with whom you want to associate yourself on a higher level. Moreover, Cancer adds sensitivity to questions of meaning and direction, making it important not just where I am, but where my inner home is in this vast world. And here, the new moon will create situations for you where you may begin studying, especially if it is academic education or has a psychological or spiritual focus. In addition, you will develop an interest in spiritual practices, philosophy, and religion. It is possible that you will start studying the cultures or traditions of other countries, or you may undergo a transformation of your beliefs. Opportunities will open up for traveling abroad for long journeys, which will have a particularly emotional impact on you. There will be a chance to participate in international projects, programs or exchanges, trainings, and internships. Issues related to migration, obtaining a visa, or a residence permit abroad will become relevant. And here it will also be possible to resolve any legal or court matters, particularly those concerning family or ancestral issues. This could involve inheritance or registering a marriage with a foreigner. Here you are also encouraged to share your knowledge, that is, to teach, start a blog, launch courses, or run educational projects, especially if they are based on your personal story. And in general, there will be changes in your perceptions about your future. In other words, where you want to go, what your life goals are, and what your overall life mission is. To ground this energy, listen to your intuition and your feelings. After all, this is a new moon in Cancer. In addition, you may meet a mentor here who will guide you, and you will encounter them precisely by following the call of your soul. Be sure to write down any insights, dreams, or revelations you have, especially during travels or meditations. It is important during this new moon, in this period, to learn something new, something that inspires you, even if it's a foreign language. The main thing is that you should be emotionally involved. Communicate more with people from abroad, start joint projects and partnerships, run a blog, and share your thoughts. Be sure to pay attention to your family and strengthen your connection with your relatives. And for you, during this period, a fitting motto would be, I discover the world and myself through knowledge, through travel, through inner truth, and I allow my heart to guide me toward meaning and my higher calling. And the tarot advice for you during this period is, it is the Eight of Pentacles, precisely. As they say, forge your own happiness learned, immerse yourself in everything new, and create your own new worldview. Pay attention to the experience you have already gained before this period, and based on the lessons you've already learned, form new ideas about yourself. I wish you success. Sagittarius, the new moon in Cancer will take place in your 8th house of the horoscope. And this is primarily about personal transformations, personal crises, as well as other people's resources, psychological work, financial matters, debt obligations, and also the topic of intimacy. Overall, the 8th house is an area of deep internal processes, hidden mechanisms connected to our subconscious and our personal crisis. It is precisely responsible for topics that require trust, strength, vulnerability, and that very willingness to change from us. And the new moon in Cancer here initiates emotionally charged changes for you, which are either connected to your personal relationships, intimate connections, or related to managing other people's resources. That is, this could involve your partner's finances, some credit matters, debts, or inheritance. It will also relate to psychological work, issues of fears and suppressed emotions, and Cancer will bring a special sensitivity to this area. It will activate your intuition here or trigger an emotional attachment to issues of control and codependency. And for you, the new moon will create situations where a deep emotional connection will manifest, requiring you to clarify issues of trust, intimacy, joint property, or shared responsibility. There will be situations related to debts, loans, alimony, or payments, especially if they are somehow connected to family or home. Inheritance matters will also be relevant. That is, it is possible that now you will begin processing documents, entering into ownership rights, or dividing property. There will be situations of personal crises that over the next 6 months will lead to a kind of inner transformation. This could be a breakup, some kind of loss, or healing after a powerful emotional experience. You can start psychotherapy, work with a psychologist, coach, or mentor, go through family constellations, regressions of various energy and spiritual practices. During this period, a partner may appear with whom you are destined to go through a transformational journey. It may not be an easy path, but it will be very significant for you. There may be situations where you start joint investment projects, a business together, or receive sponsorship, funding, or a grant for your project. And overall, during this period, you may experience a profound realization of your emotional or financial dependencies and begin the process of freeing yourself from them. To ground this energy, do not avoid difficult conversations. In other words, expressing your emotions and fears will actually help you transform them into a resource. It's a good idea to keep track of your finances here, especially those that are shared, borrowed, or involve credit. Bring order to your debt obligations. If we're talking about emotional dependency, It's beneficial to work with a psychologist, engage in self-discovery, or explore esoteric knowledge for yourself. Here, it's important to focus on internal recovery. Moreover, various water treatments will help you with this. These could be massages or simply situations of solitude. It's also beneficial to delve into studying your family lineage, which may actually be the key to resolving your personal crises. It's beneficial to engage in spiritual practices, meditation, and in general, in any situation involving other people's resources, set personal boundaries, or don't be afraid to say no. For you, during this period, the motto is, I heal my fears through honesty, through intimacy, through depth. I gain strength and inner freedom. The tarot tip for you during this period is the Eight of Wands. Take action. Resolve all issues in the areas of life I mentioned. In general, the Eight of Wands is a very active card. It has breakthrough energy, and the positive outcome of the situations you encounter during this period will depend precisely on your initiative and active steps. I wish you success. Capricorns, the new moon in Cancer will occur in your 7th house of the horoscope. This is all connected to partnerships, unions, marriage, various collaborations, contracts, and generally any interactions with other people. The 7th house is the house of me and others. And the new moon in Cancer here initiates a new emotional cycle for you in the realm of partnerships. This includes both marital and business relationships. Any close interactions with people will come to the forefront, and Cancer will add the need for emotional closeness, care, emotional support, and security to this. In other words, this is a time when you can reconsider how you build your relationships, how emotionally open you are able to be in them, and how ready you are to form emotional bonds. Overall, the new moon will create situations for you where new significant relationships begin, and mutual understanding will be especially important in them. Topics related to home, family, and care will be particularly relevant. It may be that right now, during this half-year period, you will start a family or enter into an official marriage. You might receive a marriage proposal or, in general, resolve the question of living together. There will also be situations where you need to revisit important topics in your existing relationships. That is, for example, you may need to pay more attention to your partner's feelings, have heart-to-heart conversations, or create a cozy, safe atmosphere both in your shared life and as a couple, or a new business partnership or enterprise may begin, or some new contracts may be signed. Alternatively, you might launch an advertising campaign that specifically contains this kind of emotional component. There will be situations where you need to learn how to reach agreements, show gentleness, listen rather than control. There may also be moments when you become aware of your own loneliness and your need for a genuine partnership, both emotionally and in business. There will be situations where you need to and can work through old grievances or behavioral patterns in personal relationships, especially those connected to family. You don't repeat them. To ground this energy, learn to talk about your feelings and emotions gently and honestly will help you build intimacy. In addition, arrange at-home dates or heartfelt get-togethers with your partner. This can be done by creating a cozy atmosphere, preparing delicious food, or sharing memories together. Be sure to engage in some practical activities as a couple. For example, this could be yoga, dancing, or perhaps some kind of art therapy together. This will also strengthen your bond. Pay attention to personal boundaries in your partnership, whether these are personal or business relationships. And in general, if it's relevant for you, write down what qualities you would like to see in your partner or start demonstrating them yourself. During this period, a motto that will work for you is, I create relationships where it's possible to be authentic, with trust, warmth, and emotional closeness. And your second hint is the Emperor. I would say that in the next 6 months, you may meet a truly significant person with whom you will build either a serious, committed personal relationship, or it could be a business partner with whom you can create an effective business. In any case, I wish you success. See, Aquarius, the new moon in Cancer will occur in your 6th house of the horoscope. And this is about daily routine, about health, about work, about everyday responsibilities, taking care of our body or taking care of pets. The 6th house is associated with themes of structure, health, daily routine, work duties, the balance between work and rest, and reducing stress. In other words, how we handle our routine. The new moon in Cancer will direct your attention specifically to the emotional aspect of these areas. That is, how you take care of yourself, what you invest in your health, what kind of atmosphere you have at work, and how much you actually feel in your place when it comes to everyday matters. In other words, it's a very good time to gently but decisively reconsider your lifestyle over the next 6 months. The new moon will create situations for you where you can start a new nutrition plan, a new sleep schedule, or some kind of wellness practice, especially one that has a positive effect on your emotional well-being. Or perhaps these are some water-based practices. During this period, you might start working in a new team, especially if the field is related to care, service, medicine, psychology, or social support. Or you might switch to remote work or have a flexible schedule, which will contribute more to your inner balance. There may be a need to take care of a loved one, which will also require you to establish a new daily routine. There could be a situation where you need to reassess your relationships with colleagues, subordinates, or management. And perhaps you will want to leave an emotionally toxic work environment, or on the contrary, create a cozy atmosphere at work. Chronic illnesses may flare up, especially those related to digestion. In addition, you might start working with a psychologist, especially on issues of perfectionism or self-deprecation. The most important thing here is to ground this energy by introducing a gentle routine into your life. For example, waking up at the same time every day, creating some morning rituals for yourself, cooking homemade meals, or doing anything that brings you a sense of comfort and security. Spend more time near water or engage in water-related practices, and optimize your daily tasks to help you become more effective at work. It's also beneficial to clean up, tidy your space, your workspace, your routine, in other words, to create order around you. And it would be good to reassess your relationships with colleagues to understand where, for example, your energy is being drained, or if there are any toxic relationships, and to remove them. Overall, during this period, the motto for you is, I choose to care for myself and my health as a daily ritual of love and respect for myself and for life. And the tarot tip for you during this time is the Four of Wands. This card emphasizes how important it is to truly pay attention to yourself and do more for your comfort and pleasure. In addition, the Four of Wands is also a symbol of marriage, of creating your own nest, so to speak, your own family. It's possible that you'll feel the desire to create a family-like atmosphere at your workplace. In any case, I wish you success. Pisces. The new moon in Cancer will take place in your 5th house of the horoscope, and this concerns topics of creativity, love, romantic relationships, relationships with your children, as well as ways of self-expression, finding joy in life, personal pleasure, interests, hobbies, gambling, and participation in cultural events. The 5th house is the space of our inspiration, the space of play, flirtation, and creativity. This is when our inner child is activated, and the new moon in Cancer specifically activates the emotional side of these areas of life. It is connected to how much you allow yourself to be yourself, to experience joy, to create from the heart, to fall in love, to feel inspired. Cancers bring depth and emotional meaning to these topics and remind us that true pleasure is possible only when there is inner security and self-acceptance. The new moon will create situations where you will either meet new people or start new romantic relationships, where emotional care, comfort, and a sense of soul connection are especially important. There may also be situations where the theme of creativity is strongly activated and inspiration and interest will arise. You might start writing, drawing, making music, or engaging in any kind of self-expression, especially if it is also connected to home or family themes. You can plan for conception, pregnancy, strengthen your bond with your children, participate in creative activities together, and have heartfelt conversations with your child. It's a good time to pursue hobbies and various interests, especially if you return to a childhood dream that you have been putting off for a long time. You may feel a strong desire to do things that bring you joy and inspiration, even if they seem impractical at the moment. There may be emotional fluctuations that are directly related to your feelings. And your task will be to allow yourself to experience these states in a way that benefits you. Maybe you'll want to take part in a project that you pour your heart and soul into, even if it doesn't bring any financial return. Because in that case, it's more about creativity. To ground this energy, first and foremost, allow yourself to play, draw, dance, and sing not for the result, but for the pleasure of it. Pay attention specifically to those joyful little things. It could be a delicious dessert, a movie, a walk by the water, or a heartfelt conversation. Spend more time with children and animals. Work with your inner child, perhaps through meditation, therapy, or writing practices. Let go of any guilt about your desires, because there will be a lot of emotions here. Things will come to the surface that create both positive and negative emotions. You can create a personal creative space. It could be a corner of your home, but it will allow you to create. Be open to flirting, to love, to pleasures, to romantic relationships. For you during this period, the motto is, I reclaim my joy and create my life with love, like the artist of my own destiny. The tarot tip for you during this period is the Four of Pentacles. Don't hold on to something old, from the past or unnecessary. Try, so to speak, to let go and turn your gaze toward the future. Focus on joys and pleasures. Enjoy life, create, be as creative as possible, and remain light and transparent. I wish you success. Subscribe, like, and share this video. Share your life stories in the comment show. Certain Austrian events and successes play out for you. See you. Bye-bye.